Tucker Carlson and Piers Morgan humiliate Trump. CIA targets Tucker. And frankly, they targeted everybody right now, man. Everybody getting a little bit of this work right now, you know? It's a whole lot going on. Let's get right into it, man. Double tap the screen on the way in the door. It's your boy Mac Mean. True story, all stories ain't true, but this one is, all right? What do y'all think about this war? Do you support it? Like, get in the comments. I'm gonna show y'all a little bit of this war today because I do want y'all to, you know, I do want to bring it back to civility. I want to show y'all that this thing right here is no joke. You know what I mean? If it ever touch America, you know what I'm saying? Life is gonna change. Y'all seen what happened with September 11th? With just one incident in America, we memorialized that forever. We couldn't get past September 11th, and that was just one attack. You know what I mean? In Dubai, they smacking buildings down. They basically took the whole idea of Dubai, the safety of Dubai, the you know, like all of those GCC countries, you know what I'm saying? All those Gulf countries that's producing oil under America. And right now, Trump is putting pressure on NATO and saying, yo, listen, the same way we helping Israel, y'all have to do everything to support this situation over here. Whether you like it or not, we need all arms in. Now, there's a whole bunch of shit going on right now. And I'm going to tell you like this, right? I've been told y'all that there was going to be an issue with NATO, right? Because those countries that's with us under NATO are very weak countries. They can't really do much for us. We've been doing everything for them. You know what I'm saying? When BRICS was formed, I said, you know what? We might be heading in that direction. And this might be a ploy just to make sure Israel don't recover. It's the conspiracy channel, y'all. Double tap the screen. Let's get the likes up. In Israel as we speak, while they saying that we winning, while Israel's not being affected, I want y'all to pay attention to what's really going on. Yeah, they not playing.
You need it?
They not playing.
Need it?
Iron Dome fell, ladies and gentlemen. This been happening. We knew it wasn't going to hold up. They've been trying to take down Iran for years. It's not going to happen. Not right now. Not ever. We'll make there's 4 different societies in Iran. This is not like America where everything is basically saying, nah, man, this is different. You know what I mean? And now they unleashing these certain, yo, it's crazy right now. Former in the building, salute. All right.
بالضبط وين التحالات والنيات
Nigga, I ain't staying in my house with bombs over there.
نفل لي هذا بيت مماش لهذا بيت هنا
Yeah, the kids, everybody getting it on this one. Let me just show y'all. And I know y'all been paying attention to this professor, this Jane dude, right? Now, I don't know how I feel about him yet because he's talking a lot of hot shit against America. Now, let's not get it twisted. If they got Tucker and Piers Morgan ass on the wall right now, what do you think they're going to do with your Chinese ass? You know what I'm saying? He got a lot to say about America, and none of it is good. He's saying that we're going to lose this war and all type of other shit, man. Double tap the screen. Let's get the likes up, man. Let's see what this dude talking about. I listen to him. Unfortunately and sadly, I agree with a lot of shit he's saying because I know history.
And Dubai is considered one of the wealthiest
safest cities in the world. There are thousands, tens of thousands of Westerners who move to Dubai because it's clean, you don't pay any taxes, you make a lot of money, and they're a great restaurant.
I'm gonna pay close attention to this motherfucker right here, y'all.
And this is really the economic model of Dubai. It's one of the GCC countries, okay? The Gulf coastal countries. And
Council.
for the longest time, Dubai had a really good deal because they were under the protection of the American military. So they didn't have to pay for defense. And then they...
Well, yo, Prada, I think that if we put troops on the ground, it's over for us. No.
Or in the Middle East, which is the oil producing center of the world. And so they focus on aviation. They focus on logistics. They focus on...
I'm going to show you why they're attacking those countries over there. Okay? The oil countries, the big boys. You know what I'm saying? Don't your girl want to go to Dubai and get some fake titties? Don't everybody want to go to Dubai because it's the place where you get all the money. It's the safest place in the world, right? Not no more. Check this out.
Finance, on tourism.
They cracked that facade overnight. The way 50 did Ja Rule overnight. Yo, they Ja Ruled Dubai overnight. You know how many American young black girls that's over there that was going to get some fake titties? That's making TikToks now. Please come save me. And the titties.
Wealthy, right? I'm not sure if you've taken Emirates, one of the best airlines in the world. So their airport, Dubai Airport, is the busiest in the world. And Dubai, for the longest time, was flourishing under American protection. And Dubai said to the world, listen, we're like Switzerland. We're neutral. We don't want any involvement in any wars. We're here just to take care of our citizens, to make sure everyone has a good time, to make money. And then right after the war started, the Iranians attacked.
Double tap the screen. Let's get the likes up, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get the likes up to 100 and answer the poll. Do y'all support this war? I definitely don't. You know what I mean? But I trust what the president is doing.
The GCC, okay? Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, they attacked these places. And these places were like, what's going on? We're neutral, man. We're not involved in this war. And the airport was shut down.
Jeff, Cuba's next, and I got the video up. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I get what you're saying. China, hell yeah.
In Dubai, at one point, the rich people in Dubai were willing to pay about $250,000 US just to get on a plane and get out of there. Okay? So the reality is this. For the longest time, Dubai had a reputation for being safe, and that's why people moved their money there. Guess what, guys? After what the Iranians did, it's dead. Dubai.
Listen to what this man said. They cracked that facade so fucking quick on Dubai, man. They show just how vulnerable Dubai is. It's just a sitting duck. A sitting duck stuck with a bunch of fucking bucks. Yeah, them Arabs they got up out of there, man. They left them fucking Rolls Royces right in the fucking parking lot.
As a city, in the long term, it is dead. Because you're a wealthy Westerner, you're not going to move. And that's why people move their money there. Guess what, guys? After what the Iranians did, it's dead. Dubai as a city, in the long term, it is dead. Because you're a wealthy Westerner.
And furthermore, it's showing you that we will not protect those assets. We won't protect those. We not, y'all, which I don't understand. All those military bases we got, I just don't understand.
You're not going to move to a place where it could be attacked anytime by the Iranians. You might move to Singapore, you might move to Hong Kong, Japan, South America, but you're not moving to Dubai, okay? So the big question for us is, why did the Iranians do this? It was the Israelis and the Americans who attacked you. Why go after the GCC, all right? And not only that, but they're escalating the attacks against the GCC. So this is something that we will look at very closely today. Well, the short answer is because these places, even though they pretend to be neutral, they house the American military. They allow the Israelis and the Americans to use their airspace to attack Iran from. All right. So this is Bahrain. Now, Bahrain is interesting, okay? Because I want you guys to remember this. But Bahrain will probably be one of the major centers of this conflict.
And you got to realize, because the Shiite population there, Bahrain has a lot of Shiites, and Iran is 90% Shiite.
Because, first of all, this is the American Fifth Fleet. All right, this is their naval base in the Middle East. And as you can see, the Iranians are attacking it with missiles, and it's being blown up. Bahrain is interesting because it has about 50% or even more, okay, Shia, which is the religion of the Iranians. But the people in charge are the Sunnis. And so what is the...
In order for you to understand the Sunni and the Shiite conflict, you have to go back more than 1,400 years.
What makes this strike really important from our perspective is, first of all, not only are the Iranians attacking U.S. military assets, not only are they destroying the economies of the GCC, but they're also trying to ignite a religious war, right? Because you're Shia, you're loyal to the Ayatollah. And if he's dead, then you must, as a religious obligation, now commit
Jihad
against your enemies. And it's no different in other religions where, listen, if you want to...
Not correct. What he just said is not correct, but I'll correct him later on. It's not mandatory because you did the Shia, the Ayatollah is dead, that you and in a whole other country that have nothing to do with it has to jihad.
Kill the Pope, the Catholics would be really angry.
Double tap the screen. Let's get the likes up. And if you're new here, type your city in the chat so I can see where you're from.
Now commit jihad against your enemies. And it's no different in other religions where, listen, if you want to kill the Pope, the Catholics would be really angry at you and they would want to kill you, right? Mm-hmm. So now you have the Shia who will probably eventually arise, creating a revolution in Bahrain, okay? So I think Bahrain will be the first to fall. Dubai will probably go bankrupt, okay? But in the long term, we can expect the entire GCC area, including Saudi Arabia, to eventually collapse.
Very big possibility, y'all.
Okay? And so this is something we'll use game theory to understand.
Trust me, we're going to lose something in the process.
All right, let's continue. So we will know how this war
Type your city in the chat if you're new here.
develops.
Salute to Hawaii, AK.
Just based on geography, okay? So this is a map. And this map, even if you don't really know the war, even if you don't know the participants, even if you don't know the weaponry, this map will tell you exactly how this war will progress. All right, so some certain things to keep in mind about this map. This is what we call this area, okay, really small, it's 33 kilometers wide, okay? People can swim across it. It's really, really narrow, okay? This small area, guys, it's called the Strait of Hormuz, all right? And it's important because it's really the center of the world. This one area is the nexus, the pivot of the world. Let me explain why. First of all, from the GCC, you have 20% of all the world's oil.
This shit nasty. The Strait of Hormuz. Y'all gotta, I really wanted to talk about that today, but I just don't think my audience is there,
Flowing through this narrow strait. Where does it go, guys? It goes to Asia, India, Pakistan, South Korea, China, Japan. India depends on 60% of its oil from this area. China depends on 40%. Japan, 75%. Prime Minister Kanye of Japan has said that, listen, if
40 years.
the Strait of Hormuz closes, we'll run out of oil in about 8-9 months. The entire Japanese economy would collapse in 8-9 months if the Strait of Hormuz were to close. And guess what? The Iranians have closed the Strait of Hormuz. Okay? So we can expect that the entire global economy will suffer greatly over the next few months. All right? So that's point number one. Point number two.
Now, listen, let's move forward, right? I want to show you this thing about Tucker, right? Because the CIA is on Tucker's hiney, right? Now, we all know what the fuck this is about. They're on this hiney for the same reason that we told Candace Owens she's going to have to be very careful, right? You're speaking against the J words. Okay? So this is the thing, right? Let me explain something, right? Nobody's exempt from being targeted when they go for the J words. You've seen what they did with Kanye. You've seen what they did with, matter of fact, I'm gonna show you what they did with Kanye after this.
So the other day I found out that the CIA is preparing some kind of criminal referral against me, a crime report to the Department of Justice on the basis of a supposed crime I committed. What's that crime? Well, talking to people in Iran before the war. They read my texts. So the crime under consideration apparently would be the Foreign Agent Act or something like that. Acting as an agent. I'm not too worried about an actual criminal case against me for a bunch of reasons. One, I'm not an agent
y'all
of
know
foreign power.
in the chat, right? By the letter Y for yes and N for no, is Tucker's father a CIA agent? That's what I heard earlier.
Unlike a lot of people commenting on U.S. politics and global affairs, I have only one loyalty, and that's the United States, and have never acted against it. Its interests are the only interests I care about because I'm from here and I have a lot of kids. So that's not a concern. I've also never taken money from anybody. Don't need it, don't want it, and that's provable. And moreover, it's my job to talk to everybody all the time and try and figure out what's happening around the world. That's literally what I do for a living, and I'm not going to stop doing that. Nor should I don't think. I'm also an American. I can talk to anybody. I have no secrets to divulge. So legally, I think the case...
Vaughn said they got a short on diesel for the farmers in Arizona.
This is ludicrous, and I doubt it'll even become a case. I'm bringing this up for a couple of reasons, though, and they're pretty obvious. One is that countries tend to become more authoritarian in wartime. It's just the nature of war. People are dying. The stakes are high. People's emotions have risen to a very...
We have more Y's than N's saying that Tucker's father is a CIA agent.
High point to a crescendo. And so there's much less...
I mean, obviously, the reason I'm asking about it, right, is because I was just trying to figure out how did he get this information without actually being charged. You know what I'm saying? Things like that, you know, like it's nothing mysterious. But I do know that they, you know, they target him for a text message that he was talking to somebody in Iran before. I would have to know the nature of the text before I could say anything, you know. But he's saying he's harmless.
Don't need it, don't want it.
Salute to Australia, Kevin. My bad.
And that's provable. And moreover, it's my job to talk to everybody all the time and try and figure out what's happening around the world. That's literally what I do for a living. And I'm not going to stop doing that.
Yeah, Stuart, I don't get that part. But you know what the Iranians say? They say that they're not using, they don't want the uranium for any bad reasons. They say they just want to power to, you know, use it for power. That's what they said.
Nor should I don't think. I'm also an American. I can talk to anybody. I have no secrets to divulge. So legally, I think...
London in the building, you know what I'm saying?
The case is ludicrous, and I doubt it'll even become a case. I'm bringing this up for a couple of reasons, though, and they're pretty obvious. One is that countries tend to become more authoritarian in wartime. It's just the nature of war. People are dying. The stakes are high. People's emotions have risen to a...
Hey, alert, right? My op, he can't get nothing popping, right? So he makes a troll account up, and this is him right here, y'all. This is him right here, right? He comes over here to eat on my meat. You know what the meat is? It's the Matruski. It's what's, you know, it wiggles. You know, I got a separate social security for it. Can't stand to see somebody winning. You dick sucker. Fuck out of here, pussy.
Very high point to a crescendo. And so there's much less tolerance for any...
I know what your ops is thinking about. He's thinking about, he calls himself Pencil Stick Mac. That's me. See, he makes a troll account up, you know, of my phallus. Punk ass nigga. Get up out of here, you bum.
Kind of...
Ass back to work, you fucking slave.
Dissent in the homeland. The irony, of course, is the United States fights wars on behalf of freedom, but there's always less of it here in our country during war. So that's a widely recognized phenomenon.
Let me just say something, right? Code Code 338. Remember the Doge refund checks? Ha 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 ha. How about the tariff refund checks? Ha 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 ha. Pathetic. Now, this is the problem. There's a lot of conservative people that's saying that exact same thing. I hope people wasn't voting on that.
And it's likely to happen now too. Another point to make that is worth knowing is that the USIC, the intelligence agency, spy on Americans. Now, you probably knew that, and it's been revealed a lot, including by Julian Assange and Ed Snowden, both of whom are threatened with death for revealing it, but everyone knows. But it's probably a little more widespread than most people understand.
Hey, yo, DMW, this nigga must think I don't be reading this chat, man. I'm too sharp for you, pussy. Go strike a video, you fucking coward.
And it's outrageous. There's no justification for your government, which you own, you're a shareholder in it, you pay for it, to be violating your privacy like this. But it happens all the time. And in fact, one of the reasons that CIA or people within CIA, just to be clear, it's a huge, sprawling, disconnected agency. What it does in a specific case doesn't represent what everybody in the building thinks, but there are some people who are mad at me for my views about Israel, and they have some latitude. And one of the
well, Shots by Shots TV said that he might, run those checks before the midterm elections, which wouldn't be surprising to me. But see, you know what? Some people is just so they want something for nothing, right? I think that the fact that he created that fund for the kids, the babies, the new babies, that was ingenious, to invest that into stocks and shit like that. Some of those, it's going to be a good look by the time they turn 18. So I think that's a start.
Reasons they pass on criminal complaints, in effect, to law enforcement is to justify warrants for spying on Americans. So that is an absolutely real thing. But the main reason they do it is to leak the existence of the investigation, such as it is, to the media, and then humiliate and terrify the subjects of this op. And that's, of course, happened to me repeatedly, many times, including in famously 2021, when I was still at Fox News and trying to set up an interview with Vladimir Putin. And the NSA, I heard from someone there, had grabbed my text messages with an American citizen and had leaked them to news outlets. Those texts were basically my attempts to set up an interview with the foreign head of state, and they leaked them to the New York Times in order to stop the interview, which they successfully did, by the way. And they admitted that they were spying on me. This is not a fantasy. It actually happened. They did it again 2 years later. My second attempt to get a Putin interview, I managed to get it anyway, and they've done it since. And so when you get a call from a reporter who knows the contents of your texts, it's
wow. So I was thinking it's the opposite. I'm thinking he's just putting it out there. So a reporter knows exactly what allegedly, the CIA reaches out to the reporters, throw the information out. Typical setup.
Pretty clear something's going on. None of this, in my judgment, as of right now, is a huge threat to me. So I'm not making this video to complain about it or whine or ask you to send me money because I'm under attack. I'm saying it because it's true, and you should know what your own government is doing, and you should know what the stakes are. And you should know that a lot of what happens in this country that affects outcomes happens behind the scenes. Some of it is legal, some of it is not, including what I'm describing now. But it has an effect. And the intel agencies, again, not everyone in the intel agencies, because there are decent.
Let's not get it twisted. Don't think that they're not coming for him. Candace, Piers Morgan, you know what I'm saying? And it's weird because it's like, it's not really talking against Trump. They speaking against Israel, and Israel putting they arms down America's back to have us doing all this goofy work for them.
Hardworking Americans who work in the intel agencies are Americans, just like they're decent, hardworking Americans who work at the DMV. But there are also people with agendas and grudges and no sense of restraint who are happy to misuse the.
Ladies and gentlemen, can y'all get the lights up, man? Can we everybody double tap the screen or go to the top right and hit the 3 dots? And also, that subscribe button is up there too. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. That's a fact.
Power they have granted them by our elaborate secrecy laws to hurt fellow Americans for ideological reasons. That is entirely real. That's the story of Russiagate. And it's likely that things like that will begin to happen at greater scale now. So you should just know that going forward. Thanks.
Now let's go back to something, right? Okay, because just striking things up with Kanye. It says here, Kanye West's wild accusation against Jared Kushner was proven true. You know what I'm saying? Let's dig into it. Okay, let's get there.
In 2022 interview with Tucker Carlson, Kanye West, now called Ye, dismissed Jared Kushner's Abraham Accords as money-driven. That's the accords between making friends with Saudi Arabia and Israel. He said it was money-driven and suggested Kushner and his brother held Trump back like handlers. The clips resurfaced this week after Trump credited Kushner and others for advising the February 28, 2026 strikes on Iran's nuclear sites, which he called preemptive. So Trump said he did that on the advice of Kushner and Witkoff. Some now see Kanye West's views as spot on, while others question his take on Middle East affairs, spotlighting debates over family roles in Trump's foreign policy. So let's watch this. Let's watch that video that's everybody's talking about. Let's watch this. Okay, here we go.
Sitting with Jared and sitting with Josh and finding out other pieces of information, I was like, wow, these guys might have really been holding Trump back and being very much a handler right then. They love to just look at me or look at Trump like we're so crazy and that they're the businessmen. So when I think about all of these things that Jared, somehow doesn't get enough credit for with his work, and what is it? His work in Israel or his work in Palestine? What is this? You know where he made these peace treaties? Where was that? Do you know the facts on this right here? So I'm like,
Well, I think that was between Israel and some of the Arab nations.
I just think it was to make money. I don't know. Is that too heavy-handed to put on this platform?
No, that's your opinion. We're not in the censorship business.
Okay, thank you. And a couple days later, I found out that Josh Kushner had 10% of Skims, which is a line that I had developed.
Kushner is an example of how the Jewish people have their hand on every single business that controls the world. And everybody knows that faux fact. Like, you ever seen the movie Lego Movie where the guy realizes everything is the same company? That's what's happening. By the way, we can't be mad at them, and you can't call me anti-Semitic for calling out.
So
how do you give your book the best chance to succeed in 2026? If you've written a book and you're thinking about publishing it, there are 3 things.
Okay, y'all.
let's see if this is a little different.
Somehow doesn't get enough credit.
Now so far-fetched now, huh?
Credit for with his work. And what is it? His work in Israel or his work in Palestine? What is this? You know where he made these peace treaties? Where was that? Do you know the facts on this right here? So I'm like,
Well, I think that was between Israel and some of the Arab nations.
I just think it was to make money. I don't know. Is that too?
220 votes, right? 222 votes. 68% of the people do not support this war, y'all.
Heavy-handed to put on this platform?
No, that's your opinion. We're not in the censorship business.
Okay, thank you. And
hey, Shabang, suck my whole meat lovingly with your mother's mouth.
I just think that that's what they're about, is making money. I don't think that they have the ability to make anything on their own. I think they were born into money. And for me, as a maverick and a talent and a person that's been so crazy and that they're the businessmen.
So, yeah, I mean, so I don't know what the Kanye West claims Jared Kushner is a handler for Trump paid by Israel government. I don't hear him saying that. Do you hear him saying that?
I haven't heard that.
I don't hear him saying that.
What does he say here? This is 3 minutes.
Let's hear.
And then after talking to them and really sitting with Jared and sitting with Josh and finding out other pieces of information, I was like, wow, these guys might have really been holding Trump back and being very much a handler. Right then. They love to just look at me or look at Trump like
That's
we're
where he
so
said that.
crazy and that they're the
He does say it.
businessmen. So when I think about all of
Stuart said, I would say that I don't want to say they're stupid. I would just say they hate Trump. You know what I mean?
these things that Jared, you know, somehow doesn't get enough credit for with his work. And what is it? His work
Likes up, ladies and gentlemen.
in Israel or his work in Palestine? What is this? You know where he made these peace treaties? Where was that? Do you know the facts on this right here? So I'm like,
well, I think that was between Israel and some of the Arab nations.
I just think it was to make money. I don't know. Is that too heavy-handed to put on this platform?
No, that's your opinion. We're not in a censorship business.
Yeah, that's why he's skipping the line now. That's why he don't give a fuck. He's doing what he thinks need to be done.
In my opinion, based on what Steve and Jared and Pete and others were telling me, Marco, so involved, that I thought that they were going to attack us. I thought they.
Oh, I'm just starting, y'all. I got a hell of a show for y'all, man. If you're new here, man, salute to you. Stay right here because I read comments, even ones that say dump Trump, you know, goofy shit like that, you know. So that it does prove Siamese right, or whoever said it earlier, that there's a lot of Trump hatred in here. There's not really, you know, just a lot of haters.
It would, if we didn't do this at the time we did it, I think they had in
That's your heart, right? But do tap the like button.
mind to attack us. And
No, you think the presidents make decisions in vacuums? No, we're in the age of information. We act on information, and those who control information are the ones in power, people. Especially if you are covert and you can say, Mr. President, you don't have a need to know. It's a legal response if the president wants to know if we have aliens.
I pitched the Kellogg 1 year.
Okay, now, okay, I want to show y'all what it is that was said that got Piers and Tucker hot. I mean, they've been saying a lot of shit, you know. I'm not gonna lie. I like when they was debating each other. Like, I didn't say masturbating each other. Let's get the likes up, all right? But let's. I'm gonna show y'all why I believe that the pressure's been put on now. More pressure. I don't like the war neither, but you know, it is what it is.
What Kanye's saying is that these guys are motivated by making money, and they're telling Trump, and they're actually working for Israel. That's what I get from what he said anyway. And that they were feeding Trump wrong information so that Trump would do and saying that Jared Kushner is actually on behalf of Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel is handling Trump. And it's like, oh, don't worry, we'll get him to attack Iran. Or we're going to tell him this. We'll tell him that.
Seems like that, but you know, here's another angle. How about we're just putting Israel in a position to fuck them over too? You know what I'm saying? Now, you know, we are calling on NATO to let us use their fucking spare countries to help us now, and I'm gonna show you why.
That they're going to attack us. Well, no, don't worry. That's this. And remember that Lindsey Graham was going to Israel to try to tell Benjamin Netanyahu, hey, this is how you get Trump to do what you want. And so he's trying to give him insight. This is what you do. This is how you get Trump to attack Iran. And so why wouldn't Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff be doing the same thing? And Marco Rubio, because again, they're all in the tank for Zionists. And so wow. So now there
Tell you something, them J words, some evil motherfuckers, yo.
is something to what Kanye was saying, that Jared Kushner looks like his handler, that he's giving him wrong information on purpose at the behest of Israel. Certainly looks that way. And I think that is this guy is is that tech guy who died mysteriously? So he
share this video, y'all.
A little bit more.
You don't have a need to know, my friend. You're a transient. You're here for 4 fucking years. You're gone. We are lifetime employees of the U.S. government. We know what's best. Now, you think you can control someone? You can control them by giving them selective information or by giving them outright lies. Look at the second Gulf War, people. The CIA did not want Saddam gaining power in the region, and he did, and it alarmed them. And they finally decided, we're going to bomb Iraq into the Stone Age.
Ding, 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 ding. And Iraq had they fucking hand down Iran's back at that point.
Harry, you and Sam, you know the president. Go tell them that fuck, they got nuclear weapons or make something up, but make the bombing happen tomorrow. Are we clear? President didn't make that decision. The CIA made that decision. You heard the president say, Mr. President, Iraq has nuclear weapons, and as we told you, they have ballistic missiles capable of destroying England. Imagine London.
So we get what he's saying. Is that McCann? Who is that guy? But anyway, I get what his point is. His point is that, the president only knows what people tell him. And when those guys who are,
if Tucker interviews Kanye right now and Candace, oh my God, somebody gonna die.
In the tank and working for Israel, tell him something. He doesn't know that. He thinks they're being honest with him. And Kanye West is saying, no.
Seriously, people, I need y'all to get the likes up to 100, right? I'm about to put a different question in the poll because it answered itself. People do not support this war. But y'all need to get the likes up. All right? Keep going on the likes. All right, let's get to this.
Jared Kushner and his brother are actually handlers, and they're handling Trump. Seems like it. Certainly seems like it. I would be so interesting to interview Trump like in 5 years or on his deathbed or something and say, what did you do you think they were all lying to you now? Were you being told lies about the war, the Iran war? Were they telling you it was going to be over quick? We're going to decapitate Iran. We're going to kill the Ayatollah, and they're going to roll over for us. It's going to be just like Venezuela. It's going to be easy. Don't worry. Is that what I would love to know if that's what Trump's.
Yo, let me get back to this. I'm going to show you how they trying to steal Cuba. Mira, Cuba, Aruba. Real quick. I'm going to come right back to this. Okay, this is very interesting. And then now this is a real reaction because I haven't looked at it. I just seen the title. It says Trump discusses taking Cuba amidst the Iran war. Look at this. Oh man, it's awesome. I think Trump the best president we ever gonna see. We ain't gonna never see a motherfucker this dynamic. You know what I'm saying? Y'all thought Bush was the war president? Hell no. Let's get them likes up. Hell no. Trump is the war president. This the boy that's going down in history of fucking kidnapping presidents, beating countries in submission. You know what I'm saying? And taking these motherfuckers to war.
Cuba, whatever you do with the military there, it seems like something. Will that look more like Iran or Venezuela?
Can't tell you that. I can tell you that they're talking to us. It's a failed nation. They have no money. They have no oil. They have no nothing. They have nice land. They have nice landscape. It's a beautiful island. I think they have great people. I know so many people from Cuba that were treated terribly, and they're over here and they became rich. They're very entrepreneurial people, very smart. I know a lot from Florida, especially. There's so many people. A friend of mine started over with nothing. He's now the largest owner of gas
that hot war talk, y'all. Come on, let's go on the likes.
Stations in the country and stuff. I mean, Cuban. I also know I was just with a fantastic person.
But look what Renee said. He said that the guy running the border control was running a human trafficking operation. Can somebody look into that real quick? What Renee just said, y'all.
Who's Cuban? And made
rich
fortune in sugar. Von Hool family, right?
I'm interested in that. Who said that, Renee? Trump said that?
And this family wants to go back to Cuba to visit it. They haven't been back in like 50 years or something.
Hey, let's not get it twisted, man. Cuba is fucked up right now, okay? Cuba's fucked up, okay? They don't have any power on Cuba. It's an embargo over there. You got American ships just surrounding that bitch. You know, it's doing. Cuba's doing bad, man. I don't think that Cuba should be in that position, but they are.
They largely come from Cuba, and we'll see what happens. They were asking me about that. They want to go back. Not only Van Hool, a lot of Cubans have said, "Oh boy, would they love to go back." I think Cuba, I know, is in its own way.
He said that. Okay, so, thank you for clarifying that, Siamese.
For tourism and everything else, it's a beautiful island, great weather. They're not in a hurricane zone, which is nice for a change. They won't be asking us for money for hurricanes every week.
Siamese, that's a fact because we already got our fucking arms down Cuba's back. You know what I mean? If people think that Guantanamo is just a jail, Guantanamo is a fucking suburban town, man. I'm talking about you got generals over there cooking steak. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we got our arms down. They back already, man. Cuba, man. And I don't like the way that, I just don't like, because I do a lot of covering the regular people, the real people of Cuba and other countries that we decide to talk about. Because I like to go to the ground and see what it looked like. How are they being affected? Even the people in Israel, Now, I want y'all to look at this. This is one of the things that makes Piers Morgan hot. And I'm going to show you them together in action. Check this out, right? I don't know how much trolling is going on, but it says, "Oh shit, Piers Morgan humiliates Trump," which gave me the idea for this title. All right? Keep going on the likes, y'all. I need y'all to get me to 100 likes before the hour is up. So double tap the screen or go to the top right and hit the 3 dots. Let's go.
You're someone who
add Cuba to Florida, and we will pick up 20 new conservative seats. Nigga, add Cuba to Florida, and we're going to call that shit America. We're going to call that Florida the remix. Yeah, we got a little Florida the remix. We're going to take Mexico and call that our socks. And then we're going to call fucking the other spot up top, Canada. We're going to call Canada our fucking do-rag or our wave cat. Eve James in the building.
has had lots of interactions with Donald Trump. Do you think he...
Yeah, Eve, we got some business to handle in the sector tonight, man. I think it's time to get active. You know what I mean?
He has a clue what he's trying to achieve in the Middle East?
No, I don't.
As we've been discussing on this channel, Piers Morgan is jeopardizing his friendship with Donald Trump by becoming increasingly critical
that shit is over with.
Of Trump and his mismanagement of the Iran war effort.
That's, you know what? I like AK. I like AK. Yeah, I like AK. Because AK, out of all you motherfuckers that been watching this channel, right? AK is the only one that gets it. Okay? Yeah. Let me start that real quick. Yeah, AK. I like AK. I like AK too. AK says we should take Mexico in all caps. Why the fuck not?
Well, Piers just admitted that he, quote, bashed Donald Trump during a BBC News interview this morning.
Be better with us. Imagine if we just take the whole South America after that, right? But look, imagine if we had Texas. Mexico. We call that Texas the remix too, bruh. We developed the fuck out of that shit. We go out there, we put some, you know what I mean? We have an O block in Mexico. We call it Mexico block. You know what I mean?
When asked about Trump's mismanagement of the
country so fucking bad, hey, stop digging tunnels, man. What the fuck is y'all ants? You know, you're Texas the remix, bro. Act like it.
War going so far.
Yeah, Trump removes 2 dictators in 2 months. And he got a few more people on that list, man. My boy out here stomping countries out like that shit is. You know what I'm saying? Changing countries like he changing socks right now.
Is to call Trump clueless, and we have to talk about it. But before we do, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please.
Salute to you, brother.
He does liberals and progressives and the left in the Democratic Party in the United States.
Pondering Politics channel.
And yet, Trump's mismanagement of the Iran war has been so objectively catastrophic and politically catastrophic and economically catastrophic that even Piers Morgan is just increasingly critical, not just on Piers Morgan Uncensored, but on
Yo.
The BBC when being interviewed by others instead of just doing the interviewing when he is an interviewee. He's even critical of Trump in other contexts as well. Piers Morgan says Trump doesn't have a, quote, clue about what he wants in the Middle East. His, quote, mission statements have changed, quote, hour by hour. Piers Morgan is calling out Donald Trump's shifting rhetoric on the Iran conflict. In a Sunday morning appearance on the BBC, host Laura Kunsberg Piers to show the Jerry Springer of U.S. politics. And there's a bit of truth to that. But this shows the difference.
Wait. I want y'all to hear this, what he just said, y'all.
Sobriety that Piers is treating this because, Ben Shapiro recently called Piers' show the Jerry Springer of U.S. politics. And there's a bit of truth to that. But this shows the different side of Piers where he comes from the professional journalist world. When he's at his best, he is a professional journalist. He asks tough questions and he's being interviewed by a BBC.
I do believe that Piers does a lot of trolling. Like I said, man, he pushes the limit, but Tucker Carlson, they really on his ass. I'm gonna tell you why they on Tucker Carlson ass. Because they're talking about Tucker Carlson, like Tucker Carlson's talking about running for president and shit like that. Now, trust me when I tell you, right? That's not the main thing, but that right there will get you fucked over, bro. Especially when you're such an influence against the current president.
BBC host, this is his answer.
Piers, you're someone who has had lots of interactions with Donald Trump. Do you think he has a clue what he's trying to achieve in the Middle East?
No, I don't. And I think he's thought that he could pull a Venezuela here, decapitate the leadership of Iran, and it would all get settled quite quickly. And I think 2 weeks in, what is very clear is this is not going to get settled quickly.
Well, our infrastructure, you got to look at it, right? Because a workshop says bridge, electric, data, water infrastructure failing daily across this country. We never fulfilled the promise to deliver phone and internet infrastructure here. Okay, well, look, I'll tell you what, right? And not to go against what you're saying directly, but I do want to point out the fact that the Chinese has the worst infrastructure examples in the entire fucking world. At least our infrastructure is pretty much ancient. It's expected to have some glitches right now. But the Chinese motherfuckers infrastructure is failing because they sell cheap shit. We don't want no made in China.
All the mission statements he's laid out have changed day by day.
This guy talking about invading countries from his bedroom is a joke. I'm not in the bedroom at all, bro. Right? Go get involved, mate. If you're so pro-war. Well, listen, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm not pro-war at all. I'm against the war. You know what I'm saying? If you're talking about me. My son happens to be a Marine, and I don't want him to go out there. I come from a military family. There's a lot of military in my family, but I'm not ready. I don't want the country going to war for something I can't readily identify. All right, so eat a dick, pussy. You feel me? And as far as wars, nigga, I done had fucking 20 years in prison. Fuck a war. I fought 1,000 wars. All right, what's your war? Come into my channel acting like you're going to say something I'm not going to see your stupid little ass? Huh?
Sometimes hour by hour. It was going to be regime change. It was going after the nuclear.
Come in peace or leave in pieces, motherfucker, okay? And if you feel like being a troll, I tell you what, right? I do have another channel. It's called MacMean TSTV. And if you go over there, I'll fucking oblige your trolling. But over here, don't play with me. Don't attack me. Attack the information or something, all right? Now, what you could do, motherfucker, is you could tap that button right there, right? You see that QR code that just popped up for you? Just for you, whoever the fuck you are, right? You want to be a troll? Go to my other channel, all right? Over here, this is hit the like button side.
Capability, which we'd been assured only 10 months ago had been dismantled already, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that what you've got is a very interesting war. Obviously, all wars are interesting, but particularly interesting here, whether you've got the tremendously overwhelming superiority of the American and Israeli military combined.
Sorry to hear your son will be... Man, my son wants to go out there and kill shit. My son's a real American. My boy want to go out and put that work in. I don't know what cowards y'all think y'all saying. You don't know me. You know what I'm saying? Listen, if you was on the opposite side, right, and your ass was in front of my son and his fucking gun, you know what I mean? Adios, amigos. All right. Let me explain the Marines, right? They with the shit, okay? They not ducking nothing. So don't listen to no propaganda. You know what I mean? Now me, I don't like war, period. Okay. you want to know what I think, you should ask.
Which is bigger than anything.
And trust me, I talk to my son every day, so I know exactly what's going on. Way more than you do, motherfucker. All right, so you sit on your toilet and think.
Thing we've ever seen probably on planet
Don't.
Earth, up against the Iranians, who have played a very different strategy. They've gone after a war economically, and they
Likes up. If you're new here, man, let me know what city you in. Salute to everybody. You know what I mean? All opinions is welcome, but don't ever attack me, man. I'll really go to your channel and I'm goofy. I have no sense. All right.
It's been very successful so far by controlling the Strait of Hormuz and by attacking its neighboring Gulf states in the touristy areas. They are sending a signal that we can't beat you necessarily militarily, but economically we can paralyze you.
So, in essence, Piers is almost arguing that Trump's losing the war. I mean, he's certainly not losing the war militarily necessarily, but he's losing the war economically. And that Iran is engaging with asymmetric warfare, knowing that they can't go toe-to-toe with either Israel or the United States, much less both of them together in a conventional military conflict. And yet they're accomplishing their goals all the same. In his words, they have been incredibly successful. So I appreciate the fact that this is, again, a moment where Piers is, principle, to the extent that he has any regarding Trump, has manifested. Like, look, Trump has just lied. Trump has, made all sorts of claims about the predicate, the casus belli for the war. It's changing hour by hour, minute by minute. He recycles them. He'll go back and forth, back and forth. He still, to this day, will contradict himself about Iran's nuclear program, nuclear potential. In one interview within the past week, he'll say something like, we totally obliterated their nuclear potential, not even their program, totally obliterated the nuclear potential during Operation Midnight Hammer in 2025. And then the next day, he'll do a different interview and say, within 2 weeks, they were going to have nuclear weapons. We had to take them out. These, again, are mutually exclusive propositions. There's no way to square the circle. They are explicitly contradictory. They cannot coexist in an internally consistent, internally coherent rationale. Piers is calling this out. And Piers seems to know what he's doing in the sense that when people understandably criticize him for pulling his punches with Trump, he said today, well, let me first see what he says. Piers Morgan has such a massive contradictions, happy to bash Starmer over Mandelson and Epstein. Yet he also says he likes Trump, a man whose name is written through the Epstein files like a stick of rock and will start a world war to avoid accountability. In response to this, Piers says, yet I also bash Trump over Iran today, and I also like Keir Starmer personally. So, now, again, I would point out he still, I think, compared to Starmer, pulls his punches with Trump because Piers is very critical of the scandal surrounding the former Prince Andrew, for example, and Mandelson and others who have been implicated in the Epstein files are so humiliated by the Epstein files that they've either been prosecuted or resigned in disgrace. And yet Piers hesitates to go that far with Trump. So again, this is my big criticism of Piers. When he's at his best, he is a very good interviewer, very good debater, a very good journalist, but Trump just bypasses that in most situations. And he grades Trump on a curve, which is very woke thinking, right? It's almost like moral and political affirmative action. Trump can't cut it and that every Democrat is superior intellectually and in terms of ethics and integrity. And that bothers you. So
man, shut the fuck up. Yeah, shut the fuck up. Eve said we live in Israel right now. Give me 1 second. Trying to pull something up for you guys. Yeah. Well, a lot of people saying that shit. You know what I'm saying? Now that Satan Yahoo, I was reading a lot of things that said that my boy Satan Yahoo is dead. Okay, let's get into the hot shit. Okay. Let's get into the hot shit, man. Damn, man. Tucker Carlson, man. He trying to put my boy. They trying to get with my boy Tucker, man. People calling him a snake. They don't even know why. I haven't heard one reason why. Because he's speaking against Israel.
Most people really like Trump. They like his style. They think he's hilarious. He's brave. He's just like they like him. And to see this is, it's so wounding. It hurts. I've got a bunch who work for me. I'm related to some, they're all Trump voters. And I talked to them in the last 24 hours. Boy, they're upset. They're not just mad. Like, I hate Israel. That's not the impulse. They're definitely starting to hate Israel. Why wouldn't they? Our relationship with Israel is hurting us gravely. It's getting Americans killed. So they're mad, but it's more than mad. It's, I can't believe he did this to us. You know, I feel just
a lot of people feel like that though. Like they don't understand.
So depressed about it. Killed, didn't they? Our relationship with Israel is hurting us gravely. It's getting Americans killed. So they're mad, but it's more than mad. It's, I can't believe he did this to us. You know, I feel just so depressed about it.
How politically damaging could it be? We've got the midterms coming up in November. There were already a lot of reports that it was likely the Republicans would lose control of the House. Now I'm reading more reports that it may be that they even lose the Senate, which would render Trump, notwithstanding all his kind of mystical powers to avoid the normal norms of politics in America, if you don't have control of the House and the Senate, you are a lame duck president. Period. End. There's pretty much nothing more you can do.
That's true now. I mean, I think the conversation has moved on from the president. It's not an attack on him. He's still, well, of course, as commander-in-chief. He threatened destruction of Iran yesterday. It sounded like a nuclear strike to me. So, like, he has the capacity, you know, to make decisions. He's the president, elected president. However, as a political matter, that era is over. For the reasons I just described. I didn't want that to be true, but the coalition is permanently fractured. He was not elected because...
There ain't no damn spy. You know what it is? It's when you speak against them J words, man. This is what happens to all of them. I showed y'all with Kanye. I showed y'all with Candace. Look where how they all get fired. As soon as they start speaking.
Of Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro did not get Donald Trump elected.
Shapiro is a piece of shit, okay? And they're going to show why.
People Trump is now attacking got Donald Trump elected, Marjorie Taylor Greene, etc. So that coalition is done. The Republican Party, as currently constituted, will not continue because it doesn't represent its voters. It doesn't even try to represent its voters. In fact, it shows open hostility to its voters. So nothing like that can continue for very long because it doesn't make any sense. It's a bicycle with square wheels. It's ludicrous. So the question is, what comes next? And I do think it's possible to recreate some version of the 2020 Trump coalition.
Yeah, I couldn't deal with it no more, Shango. I really can't, man. The fucking, you know, fucking trade. That's the real traitor right there.
Or the 2024 Trump coalition on the basis of his core promise, which is just put the country first. And like, you're going to make mistakes and we're not exactly sure how to fix certain things, but let's all try. And by the way, let's be united as we do it. The ugliest...
A workshop, he said that you seemed like you wanted to point a doom and gloom picture for America without any evidence. You're probably not even American. You're probably not even American. And I do want to get to some un-American shit. I want to get back to some un-American shit, which is that dude, that Professor Zhang, whatever his name is.
Thing to come out of the Mark Levin-controlled Republican Party, which I find repulsive, and I just want to say I'll do everything I can to stop.
Okay, so JJ, tell me why Tucker is a traitor. I'm waiting. I'm waiting on your response.
Party from becoming, you know, any more powerful than it is.
I mean, pay attention to your man's next response, please.
Is try to stoke religious conflict in the United States, attacking people for being like a different religion. We hate the Muslims, really. How is that different from we hate the Jews? Well, it's not in any sense different at all. And I would say, just thinking long-term about the United States, the greatest threat is not even the loss of the US dollar as the reserve currency globally. The greatest threat is tribalism, where the country fractures into warring tribes. And people like Levin are doing their best to create that. And it's totally immoral and dangerous. It will result in violence. Their endless harping on this anti-Semitism question is part of that. Anti-Semitism is immoral. It's every bit as immoral as anti-white bias, which is encoded in the federal government, by the way, and every elite institution in the United States discriminates against whites. That is every bit as immoral as anti-Semitism. That's every bit as immoral as hating anybody else on the basis of their bloodline, because it's a universal principle. It applies to
Black Lives Matter, man. You know, I heard white bitches with cornrows in their hair say that shit way more than any black person I know.
Every human being, it's a human right to be treated as an individual and not be held responsible for the sins of your parents. That is a human right in the West. And people like Levin and Shapiro don't recognize that because they are not Western in their orientation.
Workshop Siamese ran your ass about it.
They think that rights only apply to the groups they favor. And that idea, that evil idea, which was the
JJ, okay, he contradicts himself on just about okay, Tucker has become a joke, right? And I asked you to explain it, and you say that Tucker contradicts himself, just talks about every time he talks, he flip-flops constantly. Again, explain what did he flip-flop about? What was it that he contradicted himself on?
Basis of Nazism, by the way. That is the thing that will destroy the United States. And the next leadership of this country, whoever it is, has to articulate we're all American citizens. We must be treated equally under the law. Bias against one group is no better or worse than bias against another group, period.
I agree, 100%.
Anti-Semitism. Where were you when the ADL was openly promoting anti-white hate? So now the ADL is an authority on.
Some people say that about Candace too. I believe what you just said. I don't think that Tucker's a fucking traitor. I don't think he's a spy or none of that. I think that once he left from corporate, you know, just like with Candace, everything that they say after that is going to be a money run. It's going to be a troll. It's going to be, you know, some conspiracy. When really, they just saying their opinion. You might as well tell them shut the fuck up. Let's get the likes up, y'all.
Bias crimes? They've abetted bias crimes. They are currently abetting bias crimes. The ADL and every single one of these groups has an absolute moral obligation to treat anti-white hate, which is the only kind encoded in U.S. law right now, as every bit the threat of anti-Semitic hate. How are they different? They're not. And no one will say that until someone does say that, you will not reunite this country. And if this continues, the country will fracture.
I agree with him. If anybody says that shit, they're going to be a target.
YouTube creators.
Straight up. I don't think that anybody's safe to just say whatever the fuck they want to say about Israel right now, man. Let's keep it real, bro. Y'all know, I got to say the J words. We can't even say Jews. We can't. I just said Jews. That's what I'm saying. People are scared to say the J word. Why? Is Kanye wrong when he say they own everything? What are your black ass on? I don't know. I'm kind of confused. Let's get them lights up.
With glorious coincidence, Ben Shapiro has been releasing various clips on his social media platforms. One of them goes after me and Megyn Kelly. Me because he blew his gasket about.
Okay, JJ's back, right? He says in this interview he begins. Okay, let me. You know, I like the entertaining. Okay, he says in this interview, he begins early on saying all of this stuff, but then you'll catch little blips of him saying the quiet part out loud that I don't care about Israel. I don't care about Jews. Okay, but you know, I think that you're nitpicking a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I'm being real with you, JJ. You know what I'm saying? Because it's again, freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. And then context is everything too. I will have to go to the exact context of why he said that later on. Okay?
Dave Smith appearing on my show launched into.
I get what you're saying. And you know, honestly, I gave you the opportunity to explain it because I do see certain contradictions with Tucker and myself. But I don't think that their purpose, that it's on purpose. I don't think that he's a spy. I don't think he's a traitor and shit like that. And I think that we all contradict ourselves to some degree. If you really want to nitpick and dig into things that I personally supported, you know what I'm saying? You know, or certain things I say that I'm against. I don't want us targeting any particular, you know, race or whatever, or religion, but you got to admit, Israel is behind a lot of shit that we're in. They're behind it all. What's wrong with saying that?
To my show, said it was just Jerry Springer. As I like Jerry Springer, I knew him very well. I worked with him on America's Got Talent. He's actually a very smart guy. Used to be a news.
That's a fact. Two things can be true or untrue at the same time, and it depends on context.
banker, mayor of Cincinnati, really interesting guy, much smarter than Ben Shapiro. So I took that as a compliment. But I responded.
Hey, you just want to take care of your family. Most of us is like that. I would say invest in solar energy. I would say homestead. I would say, shit like that. Shit like that, because that's where we're going back to.
He didn't like the response. He's come back. He's called me Jerry Springer again. He's called me a click whore. He says I'm a pussy bitch, and he goes on and on and on. I don't actually want to play you the clip about
Ben Shapiro. Watch how he goes in on him.
Me, because he's trying to basically suggest that if you platform anybody that he hasn't approved as a person that can speak about Israel, in other words, someone who's a propagandist for Israel, who will not criticize Israel, then you yourself are promoting anti-Semitism, therefore you're an anti-Semite, therefore you're basically borderline Nazi. But I do want to play what he said about you, because he's been railing the same stuff against you, which I don't think anyone who has watched this interview so far will have concluded, oh yeah, Tucker sounds like a raging anti-Semite. He sounds like a Nazi. You couldn't sound less like either of those things, and yet he's just posted this. Let's take a look.
I started originally criticizing Tucker Carlson for his economic programs back in 2008.
Look at those big ass fucking eyebrows. I just cannot unsee them, man. I swear to God, I need y'all to really zoom in on the eyebrows. Now I got these fucking Cambodian eyebrows, right? But that guy right there, what the fuck is that on top of his eyeballs?
And then in the more modern post-Fox,
like those fucking old school board erasers and shit.
Fox iteration of Tucker, I started criticizing Tucker over his going to Russia to sniff the bread and kiss Vladimir Putin's ass. My generalized critique of Tucker in the last few months has been, one, he hosted and glossed a Nazi, Nick Fuentes, which doesn't have to do with Israel. It has to do with glazing a Nazi, Nick Fuentes. And then I did a speech at Heritage in which I went through the fact that Tucker Carlson is in no...
So sad, Shango, that they, instead of searching for the truth, they're looking for a fucking one-up. They're not listening to the context of what you're talking about and developing, a legitimate opposition or opposing view. It's just all about micromanaging and watching you, and looking for any tiny thing that they can say, well, look, he's a liar.
No way, shape, or form a traditional conservative. That he's a conspiratorial near...
Like two caterpillars about to go to war. Like two caterpillars are marching towards each other to fuck. That's what his eyebrows look like. It says eyebrows grow with every BS that comes out, like Pinocchio's. You know what I mean? Like Pinocchio's. This motherfucker has chia pet eyebrows. Black caterpillars from Jewland cost about $5 on Amazon. That's a fact. I was about to order some. In fact, I'm gonna tell you something. I already got the ears over here. Let me show it to y'all, man. You think I'm playing? Double tap the screen. Let's get the lights up, man. Yeah, man. They selling the ears too, man. There's one right here. I'm serious. Get the likes up. I try to help you people,
Anarchist at this point, seeking to tear down the fundamental ideas and institutions of the United States. Go watch the Heritage speech.
Those big fucking eyebrows. You know what I mean? They look like two fucking rolled up black sweaters. Black hoodies and just fuck.
I believe Israel is mentioned once in a 35-minute speech that is all about Tucker's general view of the world.
My grandpa. What big ears you have? The fuck? A fucking ear. I got a random ear that's sitting in my fucking crib, bro. How classic. You know what I'm saying? I'm reading comments. Maybe Iran should have. We are talking about eyebrows, Humble Pie. All right. Maybe Iran shouldn't have kept vowing to destroy U.S.
It does not represent traditional conservatism in any way. I think that Tucker Carlson has
I really don't know any Iranians, you know what I'm saying? That I know about two of them, but I kid you not, right? I don't know I don't know, and I'm not a fan of fake news. Motherfucker said roach eyebrows. You're boring, dude. Later, all you can talk about is eyebrows. Hey, you piece of shit! I've been on here for more than an hour. What's wrong with eyebrows? You must got them big ass eyebrows. And why are you announcing that you leaving? Just get the fuck out of here. Who cares? We didn't know you from the beginning. Block that motherfucker forever.
Anti-Semitism by having on some of the worst anti-Semites in America over and over and over, and then essentially laundering their views.
I got 40,000, 47,000 people. What? I don't give a fuck about you going somewhere, nigga. Get your ass about it.
So it's the same attack line, essentially, about the anti-Semitism, which is if you or I...
Roach eyebrows, got it, though. Salute Brian.
Or Megyn Kelly, whoever it may be, dares to platform anybody who is critical of Israel. Let's be clear. I mean, in my case, I've always made it crystal clear, as you have in this interview, I have...
Fucking sociopath. You know, normally they call him narcissist. I call him a sociopath. Come to somebody's channel just to tell them that, man, you're boring. I'm leaving. Fuck you mean I'm boring? What do you mean I'm boring? Ask your mother if I'm boring or not.
Absolutely no problem with Israel, the state of Israel, with Israelis.
You don't get 55 kids and impossible being boring, motherfucker.
With Jewish people, many Jewish friends. It's nothing to do with that. I reserve the right as a journalist to criticize any government, and I particularly reserve the right to criticize the Israeli government, given what it's been doing in the last few years, as any decent journalist should, not least because in Gaza, for example, the Israeli government continues to ban international journalists from operating there or even going on into Gaza to verify what they've been up to. That alone should be a warning sign to everybody that the Israeli government has probably been doing things in Gaza it doesn't want people to know. So, but I took the same view. You know, I oppose the Iraq war. We've talked about this before, but I led the media campaign in the UK against the Iraq war, even though my own brother ended up fighting in it. But I opposed it, and I think was vindicated by what happened afterwards, sadly. But I opposed it and took on Tony Blair, who was the then British Prime Minister, even though my newspaper was the Labour sympathetic newspaper, the Daily Mirror, to the Labour government. But I did it because I thought it was the right thing to do. It didn't mean that I hated British people or my country. In fact, quite the opposite. It meant that I wanted to help the British people and help my country from stumbling into a disaster. And I sense from you that your position about Iran is not driven by a hatred of Jews or Israelis or Israel. It is driven by a sense that you feel this is bad for America and Americans, and probably bad for Israelis and Jewish people as well.
Yeah, I mean, I care about the United States. Again, I was born here. My family's been here hundreds of years. I care about it. I don't expect I'll be able to save it, but I want to do whatever I can to make it better and to avoid obvious disasters like this one. I don't want to attack Ben Shapiro, other than to say, like, that guy went to Harvard and so did Bill Ackman. Like, at some point you need to reassess. No, I'm serious, though. These are two of the most famous, richest people in our world. They both went to Harvard. I know them both. Not geniuses, like not even close to geniuses. And so, like, our system itself is not producing wise people or even very knowledgeable people. Like,
Candace Owens is live right now, and she's smoking right now, y'all. She's live right now, smoking. World War BB. Trump betrays America and Charlie Kirk for Israel. This bitch is on fire right now, man. I wasn't gonna be on this shit long today, but yeah, it looked like I'm gonna be on this shit long today. No freaky. Hey, let's get the likes up, man. We got 441 votes and only 50 likes. Come on, let's get the likes up. Go up, double tap the screen. Let's get them up. All right, I got a hell of a show prepared for y'all, man. We're gonna check in with Candace in a little while.
Ben Shapiro had no idea there was a strait at the end of the Persian Gulf, and
that shit up, didn't I?
Why it was important. You need a system that produces superior people. The British Empire did a pretty good job of this. The United States before the Second World War did a pretty good job of this. We need to reassess our system. That's the first thing I would say. Second, you're right. This is absurd. I think I've actually even argued with you about Israel. I was taking a tougher position than you. You've been a defender of Israel.
Yeah.
That's why this is so crazy. He wants to talk about this in order to get, this is projection. You're all about clicks. No, actually, Ben Shapiro is all about the money and about the clicks. But here's the part.
Yeah, she's fucking over Ben Shapiro right now, y'all. I got to get to it. Yo. Y'all know Candace is my girl, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all. This is my girl. And it's live. I'm playing penitentiary. I'm taking penitentiary chances, bro. Humble pie, yes, she is. Ooh, baby. This one right here. I can't play it while she's live, though. I'm sorry, y'all. I can't play it while she's live. They're gonna strike me. I gotta wait for a couple minutes until she gets off. You know what I'm saying? And she's about to get off. No freaky. All right. Now, this is how the U.S. president will survive doomsday. If anything, if this shit gets funky, at any point it ever gets funky for the president of the United States, we're going to be fucked. Okay? But the president is going to be doing good. Right here, y'all. This is doomsday bunker.
This is how the U.S. president will survive doomsday. From the moment a nuclear missile launches toward the United States, the president has less time to decide the fate of humanity than it takes to order a pizza. And 22,000 miles above him, that timer has just started. Here, a constellation of satellites called Spears, the space-based infrared system, keeps a constant watch over the entire...
Get the lights up to 100. I'm going to keep it real, man. There's a lot of people here. Well, I like to see the lights go up. That would make us happy around here.
Our planet. These satellites are specifically designed to detect one thing: the hot exhaust plume of a ballistic missile launch. The moment a rocket ignites anywhere on Earth, these infrared sensors see it, and within seconds, that data is screaming toward the ground at the speed of light. The information lands here at Cheyenne Mountain Space Force Station in Colorado, home of the Missile Warning Center. This facility was buried 2,000 feet beneath solid granite, protected by 25-ton blast doors that can seal the entire complex airtight in seconds. The men and women who work here have one job: determine whether America is under attack. And right now, their screens are lighting up in ways they've only seen in training exercises. The early morning teams immediately begin analyzing the data. How many missiles? What trajectory? Where are they going to land? This isn't paranoia. It's happened before.
Shango, if you on a cell phone, just double tap the screen. If not, just go to the top right and hit the 3 dots.
In November 1979, the Joint U.S.-Canadian North American Aerospace Defense Command, or NORAD, computers suddenly detected 1,400 Soviet ICBMs heading toward the United States. Bomber crews sprinted to their aircraft. The emergency command post took off. For 6 terrifying minutes, America prepared for nuclear war, until someone realized a technician had accidentally loaded a training tape into the live system. The missiles weren't real, but the response was. That's why confirmation is everything. As satellite data streams in, ground-based radars across Alaska, Greenland, and the United Kingdom begin tracking the missiles in mid-flight. These massive installations, part of the ballistic missile early warning system, can see objects 3,000 miles away. And within 2 or 3 minutes, their computers have calculated exactly how many warheads are inbound and which American cities are about to phone and initiates what's called a threat assessment conference, a 3-way call connecting Cheyenne Mountain with Strategic Command, or STRATCOM, the military command responsible for nuclear weapons, and the National Military Command Center at the Pentagon. The question they're about to answer will determine the fate of human civilization. But here's the problem. The president still doesn't know any of this is happening. Getting authorization to wake the president of the United States in the middle of the night requires going through the Secretary of Defense. If the secretary can't be reached, the National Military Command Center can go directly to the White House. Either way, the clock is already ticking, and they've used up nearly 5 minutes just confirming the attack is real. At the White House, a military aide rushes toward the president's bedroom carrying a 45-pound black leather briefcase. This is the nuclear football, and despite what movies might have you believe, it doesn't contain a big red button. What it does contain is far more terrifying. Inside the football are 4 items: First, the Black Book, 75 loose-leaf pages outlining America's pre-planned nuclear strike options. President Jimmy Carter found these options so complicated that he ordered them simplified. A military aide to President Clinton later described the result as similar to a Denny's breakfast menu. Pick one from column A, two from column B. Options range from launching a single missile to unleashing hundreds of warheads simultaneously. Second, there's a book listing classified locations where the president can be taken during emergencies. Third, procedures for activating the emergency broadcast system. And fourth, a credit card-sized piece of plastic called the biscuit by military staff for its small shape and size containing that day's nuclear authentication codes. The president is woken up and immediately patched into a missile event conference, a secure call connecting the commander-in-chief with the Secretary of Defense, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the STRATCOM commander, and the National Security Advisor. The STRATCOM commander delivers the briefing, number of incoming missiles, estimated targets, time to impact, and response options. Now here's where things get truly insane. The president has approximately 6 minutes to make a decision. That's the window between confirmed detection and the moment American missiles must launch if they're going to escape destruction in their silos. 6 minutes to decide whether to end human civilization, and there's nothing. The president selects a response option from the Black Book, then must authenticate his identity using the biscuit. A senior officer in the war room issues a challenge code, something like Papa Tango from the military phonetic alphabet. The president reads the corresponding response code from the biscuit. The Secretary of Defense then confirms the president's identity and verifies the order is authentic. But here's the critical part. The secretary cannot veto the order. This is verification only. The president has sole authority to launch nuclear weapons. No congressional approval, no court review, no second opinion required. Once authenticated, the war room prepares an emergency action message, an encoded order that is transmitted simultaneously to every nuclear weapons platform in the American arsenal. Missile silos across the Great Plains, submarines hiding in the depths of the ocean, and bombers on alert at bases across the country. But the president isn't going to wait around Washington to see what happens next. The moment the attack is confirmed, the Secret Service initiates evacuation procedures. The president has two immediate options, and which one gets used depends entirely on how much time is left on the clock. If there's no time, say a submarine-launched missile fired from just off the coast, giving maybe 12 to 15 minutes of warning, the president goes underground. Beneath the east wing of the White House lies the Presidential Emergency Operations Center, or PEOC. This bunker was originally built during World War II to protect President Roosevelt from aerial bombing. Today, it's been upgraded to withstand
a train under that motherfucker too.
Nuclear blast overpressure and features modern communications equipment, televisions, and phones connecting to every major government agency. Former First Lady Laura Bush described being evacuated there in 2001. She wrote about being hustled through a pair of big steel doors that closed behind me with a loud hiss, forming an airtight seal. She walked along old tile floors with pipes hanging from the ceiling, past mechanical equipment, into a conference room with a large table. That's where Vice President Cheney spent most of that terrible day, directing the government's response while the president was airborne. But the PEOC has limitations. It's designed as a short-term shelter, not a command center for fighting a nuclear war. That's why, if there's enough warning time, 15 minutes or more, the president boards Marine One on the South Lawn and
when it comes to front rows, output, I mean, we've seen...
Now, Professor Jang, I know y'all been watching this motherfucker pop up, right? Now, I don't know what his thing is and why he thinks that America, like, we're going to lose so bad. He said Israel wants us to lose, and he says he's going to provide the reason why.
What if I told you that America's best friend in the Middle East actually wants America to lose? Not in public, obviously. In public, they shake hands. They smile for the cameras. They say all the right things. Best allies, unbreakable bond, friends forever. But behind closed doors, the math doesn't add up. Because here's the thing. If America wins this war quickly, Israel actually loses. And if America gets dragged into a long, painful, exhausting war, the kind where soldiers come home in coffins and the whole country starts asking, why are we even doing this? And that's when Israel wins. Sounds crazy, right? It sounds like something a conspiracy theorist would scribble on a wall, but this isn't conspiracy. This is strategy, cold, calculated game theory strategy, the kind they teach in war colleges, the kind that generals study, the kind that most people never hear about because nobody explains it in simple terms, until now. By the end of this video, you're going to see this whole thing differently. And honestly, you might never look at the news the same way again. Let's get into it. Okay, before we dive deep, let me zoom out for a second. There's this massive chess game happening in the Middle East right now. And most people think it's simple. They think it's good guys versus bad guys. America and Israel on one side, Iran on the other. Easy, but it's not. It's actually a secret free-for-all, 4 big players, 4 completely different plans. And here's the wildest part. Even the players on the same team are secretly trying to beat each other. Imagine playing a team sport, but your own teammate is trying to make you trip so they can score the winning goal instead of you. That's exactly what's happening. And the 4 players are America, Israel, Iran, and Saudi Arabia. Each one has a plan. Each one has a goal. And almost none of those goals line up, even between so-called allies. Let me show you what's really going on. Okay, let's make this super simple. Forget about maps and politics for a second. Think about a schoolyard, a big one, with 4 big kids. In the middle of this schoolyard, there's one thing everybody wants, a candy machine. This candy machine is special. It's the only one in the entire school. And whoever controls it, they basically run the school. They decide who gets candy. They decide who doesn't. They make the rules. That candy machine, that's oil, Middle Eastern oil, the stuff that powers basically the entire world. Now, here are your 4 big kids. America is the biggest kid, the strongest, the one who's been running the schoolyard for decades. They've got their hands on the candy machine and they're not letting go. Their whole thing is, I'm the boss and it's going to stay that way. Iran is the kid who's been pushed around for years, bullied, punished, had their lunch money taken away, but they've been working out in secret, getting stronger, and now they're ready to fight back. They're angry, and they've got nothing left to lose. Israel is the smart kid, the one who doesn't fight with fists, they fight with brains. They pretend to be America's best friend. They walk around arm in arm, but secretly, they've got their own plan, a big plan, and it doesn't include America being the boss forever. Saudi Arabia is the rich kid, the one with all the money. They want to be the boss too, but they know they can't outfight the bigger kids. So they play it sneaky, they make deals, they wait for the right moment, and when everyone else is tired from fighting, they plan to swoop in. 4
This is why he's going fucking viral. Double tap the screens, get the lights up.
kids, 1 candy machine, 0 trust. Now let me show you what each of them actually wants. And this is where it gets absolutely wild.
This ain't no fucking AI. I mean, you're not following this guy?
Wild. See, when you watch the news, they tell you a simple story. America good, Iran bad, Israel is our friend, Saudi Arabia is complicated. But that story is for people who don't ask questions. The real story is messier, way messier. Because in this game, everybody is lying to everybody. Allies are secretly enemies. Enemies are secretly working together. And the player who looks like they're losing, they might actually be winning.
He said Professor Zhang is AI. You guys are stupid.
I'm about to break down what each player truly wants, not what they say they want, what they actually secretly,
y'all got to touch grass,
behind closed doors want. And I promise you, by the time we get to Israel, your jaw is going to hit the floor. Let's start with the easiest one. America wants one thing: destroy Iran. That's it. That's the whole plan. Get rid of Iran. Doesn't matter how, doesn't matter why people are told. Just make Iran go away. But why? Why does the biggest, strongest country on earth care so much about one country in the Middle East? 2 reasons. Reason 1, the bridge. Imagine there's a bridge, not a normal bridge. This is the only bridge connecting 2 huge cities. Every single truck carrying food, supplies, and goods has to cross this one bridge. If you control the bridge, you control everything. You decide who crosses, you decide who pays, you decide who eats. In the real world, That bridge is called the Strait of Hormuz. It's this narrow little strip of water between Iran and the Arabian Peninsula. And roughly 20 to 30% of the world's oil passes through it every single day. Every single day. If America controls that bridge, or at least makes sure nobody else controls it, then America controls global trade. And if you control global trade, you control the world. Simple as that. Iran is sitting right next to, in fact, Iran can basically shut it down whenever it wants. That makes Iran the single biggest threat to America's power, not because of nukes, not because of terrorism, but because of geography. Iran is in the wrong spot for America. Reason.
And you want to know what that spot looks like? I got the picture for you, just in case you need to visualize this shit a little bit, right? This is what's going on. Like that Strait of Hormuz made me pay attention. Like, what the fuck is so important about that, right? I'm gonna show you why it's important. Because if you look at these Gulf countries, right, over here, right, Qatar, Dubai over here, Kuwait up here, right? Guess what? This is where all the oil was coming from. So they got to get past here to go past the Gulf of Oman, you know what I'm saying, to get out here, you know, to get to the world, you know, and they making it hard over there. Now, I wonder why the U.S. is not escorting those tankers through there right now. So, you know, I don't understand why, but I seen a video early pop up that explains it. I just ain't get into it, all right? And I'll do my homework on that and present that to y'all later.
Season 2, the Heartland. This one is a little bigger. Picture a map of the world. You've got America way over on one side, surrounded by oceans. Then you've got this massive chunk of land. Europe, Russia, the Middle East, China, India, all connected. That's the Heartland. America's biggest nightmare, the thing that keeps their generals up at 3 a.m., is this. What if all those countries started trading with each other by land, by trains and trucks and roads? Because right now, most of the world trades by sea, by ships. And guess who has...
He says his English is too perfect. So he's supposed to say, instead of saying yellow, he's supposed to say yarrow.
The biggest navy in the world, America. America's power comes from controlling the oceans. If countries
I feel you though, bro.
Start trading by land instead, America's navy becomes useless. And America stops being the boss. Right now, Russia, China, and Iran are starting to become buddies. They're creating something called BRICS. They're building railways. They're making trade deals that cut America out.
Ding, 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 ding.
And if these three fully connect, game over. The Heartland unifies. America's power crumbles. But here's the thing. Iran is the glue. Iran is the piece that connects Russia to China to the Middle East. Take out Iran and the whole thing falls apart. The Heartland fractures. The friendship breaks and America stays on top. That's why America has to destroy Iran. It's not optional. It's not a choice. It's survival. Now flip it. If you're Iran, what do you want? 3 things. Number 1, control the bridge. That Strait of Hormuz we talked about, Iran wants to own it completely. If Iran controls that bridge, then every country in the Middle East, Dubai, Kuwait, Oman, Bahrain, they all have to pay Iran to move their stuff. Iran becomes the toll collector. And the toll...
Somebody just said his eyebrows grow every time he lies, right? On Candace Owens' channel, I swear to God, somebody just said that shit over here. Some girl named Let's Go. I don't believe this shit. We just said that shit.
Collector always gets rich. Number 2, kick America out. America has this huge military base in the Middle East called CENTCOM. Think of it as America's clubhouse in the region. It's where they keep their soldiers, their jets, their ships. Iran wants to smash that clubhouse to pieces.
I wonder who live just ended, DBM. What's the word, Don Dada? Hey, yo, Don Dada, let me tell you something, Don Dada. This Chinese man, Don Dada, let me tell you something, Don Dada. He got some shit going on, Don Dada. You heard, Don Dada?
Because as long as that clubhouse exists, America can punch Iran.
The manners and respect, Don Dada. I respect you, Don Dada. You know, respect the manners to me, Don Dada.
Whenever it wants. But if the clubhouse is gone, America has to go all the way home across the ocean. And now,
I'll tell y'all one thing, man, from the heart. Don Dada.
Now Iran is free. Number 3, make Israel look weak. Notice I didn't say destroy Israel. That's important. Iran cannot destroy Israel. Why? Because Israel has nuclear weapons. You know, the really, really big bombs, the ones that can wipe out entire cities in seconds. You do not poke a kid who has a bomb in their backpack. You just don't. Because if they get scared enough or angry enough, they'll use it. And then everybody loses. So Iran's goal isn't to destroy Israel. It's to embarrass them, make them look weak, show the
William, salute, bro.
World that Israel
Thank you for that super chat, man. Appreciate it.
Isn't as tough as everyone thinks. Humble them. Take away their reputation without pushing them to the point where they go nuclear. If Iran pulls off all three, control the bridge, destroy the clubhouse, humble Israel, then Iran becomes the new boss of the Middle East, the new king of the playground. Okay, here it is. The part you've been waiting for. What does Israel want? And I need you to pay close attention here, because this is where everything flips upside down. Israel doesn't just want to beat Iran. Israel wants to beat everyone, including America, including Saudi Arabia, including every single country in the region. Israel's secret shopping list looks like this. Destroy Iran.
Facts! Talk that shit, bro.
In the region. Israel's secret shopping list looks like this. Destroy Iran. Destroy America's military presence in the Middle East. Yes, their own allies' military. Weaken Saudi Arabia and take their resources. Read that again. Let it sink in. Israel, America's so-called best friend, wants to destroy America's military in the Middle East. Why? Because think about it. If Iran is gone and America's military is also gone and Saudi Arabia is weak, who's left? Who's the last big kid standing on the playground? Israel. Just Israel, alone, unchallenged, the king. This is what some people call the Greater Israel Project. The idea that Israel doesn't just want to survive, it wants to dominate. It wants to be the only major power in the entire Middle East. And to do that, everybody else has to go. Enemies and friends. Now, here's the genius part. The part that makes this strategy so brilliant and so terrifying at the same time. Israel does not want a quick war. They do not want America to go in, bomb Iran in 2 weeks, and come home victorious with flags waving and a parade. No, that would be terrible for Israel, because a victorious America is a strong America. A strong America stays in the Middle East. A strong America keeps its military bases. And Israel is back to sharing the playground with a bigger kid. So what does Israel want?
He's an English teacher. English teachers know a lot of shit.
Instead, a long war, a slow, grinding, painful, expensive, demoralizing war. The kind of war that
mental of him just by looks alone. I ain't gonna lie, because I got a fun, I'm not for nothing. It has nothing to do with Chinese food or anything like that, right? I just didn't know enough about him.
Takes years. The kind where body bags come home every week. The kind where the American people start holding protest signs and politicians start losing elections because nobody wants to keep fighting anymore. Vietnam, Afghanistan, Iraq. You've seen this movie before. America goes in strong, confident. We'll be home by Christmas. But then Christmas comes and goes, and another one, and slowly the will to fight just...
He said billions of dollars in missiles in one... Where we get this money from, man? I'm not that educated, man. It's a little bit above my pay grade.
Drains away like water going down a bathtub drain. That's what Israel wants, because once America is too tired, too broke, and too demoralized to fight, they pack up, they go home, they leave the Middle East forever, and Israel is the last one standing, the sole superpower of the region, crown on their head, keys to the candy machine.
I hope so. And I hope this was a move to checkmate Israel.
That is why Israel secretly doesn't want America to win this war. Quick pit stop, Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia's wish list is surprisingly similar. They want to get rid of Iran because Iran is their biggest rival. They want America's military grip on the region to loosen because Saudi Arabia wants to be independent, not someone's sidekick. And they want Israel taken down a peg.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with it too, man. Chris and me, that's where I'm at with it too, man. He's telling some truth.
Not destroyed, but humbled. Saudi Arabia is the
rich. Question his intent too.
kid who's been spending money for years, building influence, making deals. And their plan is basically to wait.
And only because I don't know them yet. But I like to, you know, facts is the facts, no matter what. And truth is truth.
For America and Iran to exhaust each other. Wait for Israel to overplay their hand. And when the dust settles, step in with a checkbook and buy whatever's left. So even Saudi Arabia benefits from a long American war. Notice the pattern? Let this sink in. Out of 4 players, 3 of them, Israel, Saudi Arabia, and Iran, all secretly want.
Trump ain't crying for help from NATO. He's not crying for help. He's making them do their fucking duty. You want to know something? Because we're doing our duty. We're under NATO. You know what I mean? But what the fuck is those countries under NATO going to do for us? Uzbekistan, Afghanistan, Yakistan, and all this fucking shit. Poland, man, what the fuck are they going to do? We don't even want it. We don't even have dreams of vacation in there. You understand where I'm coming from, bro? Like, what the fuck? Why would we bet? Why? I mean, let me explain something. Why do we need to beg somebody that don't got what the fuck we got? We don't need to beg nobody. What is Belgium going to do for us? You want Canada to come through? That's our do-rag. Denmark? What the fuck? United Kingdom? Like, I don't get it. Who are we begging? Explain that.
Want the same outcome. America stuck in a long, endless ground war. That's 3 out of 4. The only one who doesn't want a long war is America.
That's a fact, but we don't have to be nice, though. We don't have to be nice. We don't have to be nice. You know, like, you know, you don't get to insult your allies. I mean, a lot of our allies are saying death to America. They supposed to be our fucking people. Michael, I have to interrupt them from talking. This is called Mac Mean True Story Show. Double tap the screen. This is not called Let's Look at the Chinese Professor Guy. Okay? I have to stop the video or they'll strike my fucking channel. Goofy. You want to watch it? Here you go. Here's the link for you to go watch it, right, by yourself. Now, somebody time his ass out. I mean, block him from the channel. You know, go sit in the corner.
And unfortunately, America doesn't fully realize that it's being played. America's strategy...
Intriguing content on purpose. I play things to educate you and entertain you. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm learning a lot of this shit, too, as we move along. Like, I'm not learning politics, but I'm learning who this guy is. All right? I have to critique this motherfucker. All right? That's it. That's it. That's the name of the, you know, I play things like that, and some of y'all exist. Y'all come in, y'all start telling me to play the video. All right? Your mom should have.
Is confused. It's reactive. It doesn't have a clear.
Don't make me focus on you, please. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be nice.
Long-term plan. It's like a boxer who keeps swinging, but doesn't know who he's actually fighting. And when you don't have a clear plan...
Yeah, if our allies don't have no backbone, what's wrong with saying it? I mean, that fucking shit is obvious. They ain't got no backbone. We don't need to beg those motherfuckers to help us. We got this against the whole entire planet if we felt like it.
You become easy to manipulate. So here's how the trap works. Iran provokes a missile here, a proxy attack there, just enough to make America angry, but not angry enough to nuke anybody. Israel whispers in America's ear, you have to send troops. You have to respond. If you don't, you look weak. Saudi Arabia agrees, nodding along. Yes, wow. Yes, you must protect us.
Well, of course Saudi Arabia agrees because they're in the line of fire.
So America sends soldiers, a few thousand at first.
And for the record, Saudi Arabia is disgusting too, man. You know, Saudi Arabia is on some bullshit too.
Then more, and now they're in. Boots on the ground. And once you're in a ground war in the Middle East, good luck getting out. It's quicksand. The more you struggle, the deeper you sink. Ask the Soviets about Afghanistan. Ask the Americans about Iraq. Ask literally any empire that's ever tried to occupy the Middle East. It doesn't end well. It never ends well. And every year that passes...
Ask me, I think that they're ahead of the game, Mark.
America gets weaker, more divided, more tired, more broke. And the other 3 players, they sit back and watch. Patiently.
Anybody getting up? We don't need those motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Like big America, man. We don't need them. They can go cower wherever they at.
Like vultures circling. But wait.
We need signs of life from Netanyahu.
I hear you say. America has nuclear weapons. Why don't they just nuke Iran and be done with it? Great question. Terrible idea. Here's why. Think about it like a fight at school. Let's say someone pushes you. You could push them back, and that's fair. You could maybe throw a punch if it gets heated, but you cannot pull out
a knife or
baseball bat on day one and smash them in the head, because what happens then? Chaos. Everyone gets involved. Teachers, parents, the police. Suddenly you've turned a small fight into a full-blown catastrophe.
Whether we like them or not, that's true. These analogies are uncanny.
And you're the
spot on. I understand them so far.
Bad guy. Nobody cares that they pushed you first. All they see is you standing there with a bat. That's nukes. If America uses nuclear weapons, several horrible things happen at once. One, your own soldiers stop believing in you. Troops need to believe they're fighting for a good cause, that they're the good guys. You can't nuke an entire country or killing millions of innocent people and then tell your soldiers, we're the heroes. They won't buy it. Morale collapses. Two, the world turns against you. Public opinion matters. Other countries matter. If America nukes Iran, every country on earth looks at America as a monster. Alliances break. Trade deals collapse. The global order you've been trying to protect, you just destroyed it yourself. Three, you can't control what happens next. This is called the escalation ladder. If you jump straight to the top, to nuclear weapons, your enemy has nothing left to lose. They fire everything they have. Their allies fire everything they have. And now, instead of one war, you've got World War III. So no, America can't use nukes. Israel can't use nukes. Nobody can. That's the whole point. The game has to be played slowly, with soldiers, with money, with time. And that's exactly the kind of game that Israel wants America to play, because time is the weapon that kills empires. Now, some people might think, okay, no nukes, fine, but why can't America just do what they did in Venezuela? Go in, remove the leader, put in a new friendly leader and call it a day? That's a fair question. And the answer is simple. Iran is not Venezuela. In Venezuela, the rich and powerful people, the elite, had their money in American banks. Their kids went to American schools. Their families lived in American cities. Their entire wealth was stored in America's backyard. So when America came knocking, those rich people had a choice: fight America and lose everything, or make a deal and keep your mansions. Easy choice. They took the deal. Iran has complicit Iran with sanctions. They froze their money, blocked their trade, isolated them from the world economy. And you know what that did? It didn't make Iran surrender. It made Iran furious. The Iranian elite don't have money in America. They don't have kids in American schools. They have nothing in America, nothing to protect, nothing to negotiate with, nothing to lose. And when someone has nothing to lose, they fight hard to the death. It's like trying to stop a beehive by removing one bee. You pull out the queen, doesn't matter. The whole hive is already buzzing. Every single bee is angry. Every single bee is ready to sting. You could remove 10, 20, 100. The hive keeps coming because the rage isn't in one bee, it's in all of them. That's Iran. You can kill their leaders. You can kill their generals. You can kill their supreme leader. It doesn't matter. The people below them are just as angry, just as committed, and just as willing to fight. The Venezuela playbook is useless here. So what's the actual takeaway from all of this? It's this: war is not about weapons. I know that sounds weird, but it's true. War is not about who has the biggest guns. It's not about who has the most bombs. It's not about who has the fanciest jets. War is about story, about narrative, about who can control what people believe. Can you keep your soldiers motivated? Can you keep your people supportive? Can you convince the world you're right? Can you outlast the other side? Can you make your enemy give up before you do? That's war. That's the real war. The one fought in minds and hearts, not on battlefields. And Israel understands this better than anyone. They don't need to fire a single bullet at America. They don't need to fight America directly. All they need to do is let America fight someone else for as long as possible, as expensively as possible, as painfully as possible. And when America finally gets tired, when the protests get too loud, when the politicians start losing, when the American people say, enough is enough, bring our troops home, Israel is standing right there, untouched, fresh, ready, the last player left in the game. The smartest player isn't the one with the most weapons. It's the one who gets their enemies to destroy each other while they sit back, watch, and wait. So,
nigga said it's AI. I don't give a fuck if it's AI. I'm listening to the information that the AI is speaking. Okay, all right, that's AI. All right, that's that. You know, like allegedly that's AI. Right. We're gonna get to the Candace Owens thing too. I hope she get off live. She's still live right now. This right here says your phone is now required to spy on you. It's the law. Want some conspiracy? Here's some right here. All right. Skynet.
Terms of service update that you can opt out of, but a legal requirement. Every app you open, every launch, every download, your device is now required to report information about you to anyone who asks. They call it a safety feature, but I'm going to prove that it's something much more dangerous than that. California just passed a new law, and on the surface, it sounds reasonable. Age verification, about protecting the kids. Nobody's going to argue with that in public, but I spent 20 years as a professional hacker and an information security analyst, and I know he's a hacker because he has an Atari shirt on. Guess nobody's interested in that. Right? Now, I do want to show y'all something real quick, right? Just for the, just to educate myself too and refresh my memory with what the fuck is going on. I mean, like, these are the NATO countries. These are the countries that we're down with, all right? Let's just say if we was the Bloods, you know what I mean, or the Crips. These would be our allies, okay? These countries here. Founding members. Let me make this a little bit more bigger for the niggas, right? As of 2024, 32 member countries, primarily from Europe and North America, committed to mutual defense. Sweden is, so it doesn't matter if we insult these motherfuckers or not. They're supposed to hold us down, right? Okay, tell me if any of these countries you have plans on going to visit with your wife. You know what I'm saying? Do you have plan on going here to Belgium? The only thing I've ever heard about Belgium is Belgian waffles. I don't know anything about Belgium. I know Canada is basically our do-rag. It's at the top. I heard it's pretty cold up there. I have no plans on going there. Denmark, the fuck is that? Is that a car brand or some shit? I never heard of that place. All right, France. Aha. We go to France, and the fuck we gonna do in France? Paris is fucked up. It's ghetto. It's funky out there. Stink. Iceland, I don't like the cold. I'm from Cambodia. Italy, the fuck are we gonna do out there? Buy some shoes or something? They ain't, Luxembourg, I don't know where that's at. Netherlands, last time I was in, I thought of what was that guy named from the Netherlands? Damn, man, what was that guy named from the Netherlands, man? No, I'm thinking, the never ending story. That big white thing that they was flying on. Norway. Don't go this way nor that way. Never go there. The fuck is that? Portugal. Sounds like Christopher Columbus. United Kingdom. Is that England? The fuck? United States. It's the only thing I've recognized over here. Greece. Come on, man. No Diddy. The fuck? The fuck? They must have been strong back then. Turkey, eh? That's the Turkey, eh? I just found out that was a country the other day. Germany. The fuck? We're gonna go over there. But they're gonna send a bunch of cars and shit. Spain. You know, I don't like people that Spain they dogs, man. You feel me? Czechia, Hungary, man. They need to get some food over there. Poland, Spring, man. I never heard of none of this shit, bro. Fuck NATO. Supposed to be holding us down. CNN selling out again. Jesus Christ. Let's see what's going on here, man.
People who are the beneficiaries of the strait will help to make sure that nothing bad happens there. If there's no response, or if it's a negative response, I think it will be very bad for the future of NATO. That was a statement to the Financial Times. Now, this morning, just a few minutes ago, the foreign minister of Germany said he does not see NATO assuming responsibility for reopening the straits. So where do you think that leaves things?
Well, I think there's a real problem here. I've been saying for the last 2 weeks, I think that among other mistakes Trump made before undertaking this operation was not consulting adequately with our allies. He also didn't prepare the American people and didn't prepare the Congress. And I say all this as an advocate of regime change in Iran. I want this mission to succeed. It's just inconceivable to me that the prospect of the Strait of Hormuz being closed wasn't part of the decision-making that led up to the go-ahead. Back when I was in the White House and vigorously advocated, as vigorously as I could, overthrowing the regime in Tehran, closure of the Strait of Hormuz was always a subject of discussion. But here, I think not only the political groundwork wasn't laid with the allies, I'm surprised that the military hadn't done more earlier to remove what is clearly one of Iran's most important retaliatory strike capabilities, not just its ballistic missiles, not just its drones, but closing the Strait of Hormuz, which is what it has accomplished.
What does it tell you that the president seems to be asking for help now, 2 weeks into this conflict?
Well,
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm approaching the 2-hour mark, and I guess we'll get. I'm gonna look at the Candace Owens shit after I'm done. I just want to educate myself and see what's going on.
Normally, you build a coalition of the willing before you go to war. I mean, that's just a tip from somebody who's been there. Our coalition was the U.S. and Israel. I'm great with that coalition, but we should have gone to NATO members, not to tell them the operational details or the timing, but to say, look, we're going to take serious action here. It's time for this regime to go. You are threatened by Iran's nuclear capabilities and aspirations. You are threatened by Iran's terrorist activities. We want you in this with us. Now, maybe we wouldn't have gotten all of NATO, but if we had worked the issue, it's at least possible that we would have gotten some from the outset. And as things developed during the
Trump said NATO faces a very bad future if it doesn't help secure the strait. I don't think that's begging for help. I think that's telling them motherfuckers what it is.
Last 2+ weeks, we could have brought them in later. But none of that preparation was done. And
put all your pawns in front of these motherfuckers. You should have did that first. Should have made all them motherfuckers go fight.
We're now seeing the downside. And I tell you, tweeting out or saying in a press release you want China to help you open the strait is not the way to do this. This is what quiet diplomacy may succeed at. No guarantees, but you don't get it by publicly demanding that they come in.
CENTCOM sending a Marine Expeditionary Force, about 2,500 Marines, maybe more.
Talk that shit, Chongo. Talk that shit. Tax them motherfuckers.
To the region. What difference do you see that potentially making?
Well, there are a lot of missions that might be considered for. I believe for some time that at an appropriate time, which is not now, but perhaps when the
if they don't straighten up, we might go take all those NATO countries.
Regime is collapsing.
Put some good old democracy on the motherfuckers.
Seizing the key nuclear sites, Fordo, Natanz.
Yeah. Fuck your taxes. Fuck your tariffs, all that. Give me the whole country.
Esfahan, maybe others, could be critical to prevent enriched uranium, centrifuges, other materials related to the nuclear
make Israel do it.
Program from falling into the wrong hands, getting to terrorists or other rogue states. It may be they've got something in mind for some of the islands in the Strait of Hormuz as defensive positions there. And I think, again, this may make sense militarily, but why didn't
Kansas must be smoking? She got 132,000 people up in that bitch.
We do it like 3 weeks ago.
Ambassador, you just said before, you are a firm supporter of regime change in Iran and have been for decades. But what does that mean today? If President Trump today, tomorrow, Wednesday said, okay, we're done there. The regime has been crippled. They've got no more missiles, no more navies. How close would that be to the regime change that you advocate for?
I think if you don't get regime change now, this military activity could be said to make the question worse. We've now got real evidence that closing the Strait of Hormuz can cause economic pain. And if the Ayatollahs and the Revolutionary Guard survive in power, they will go back to their nuclear weapons program. They will go back to to increased international terrorism. That's the whole point of regime change, that the behavior of the people running the country now is not going to vary. Their ideology, their fanaticism drive them to do what they've been doing these past 47 years. Now, you either live with that, which I think is unacceptable, or you get rid of them.
I think he said it all. Salute to everybody that pulled up today. You know what I'm saying? My boys. I'm about to get off of this, man, and get up into this trolling. Trolling to get you swollen. Subscribe to the channel, top right button, hit the 3 dots, you know, hit the like button on the way out the door. Salute to everybody that did, everybody that voted. My boy Rico, salute. You know what I'm saying? DMW shots. You know, everybody that pulled up today, man, that was a part of the conversation. You know what I mean? Salute to my mans, you know. You know? All right, I gotta get up out of here, right? Until next time. Peace.